Hello, everybody. My name is Bobbi DiClaudio, and I am here today at Green Eris to speak to you about emotional versus physical hunger. And we are going to go into the 3 key strategies for food freedom. As you know, we all have been in the same boat here a little bit with being locked in or shut in or whatever we want to call it. And I think from what I gather, talking to a lot of my friends, some of my clients, and just people in general, that there may be some emotional eating going on. So if that might be something that you're struggling with or want to learn a little bit more about, then you're in the right place this morning. So welcome, and I guess we'll get jumping right in. So before we get too far into the emotional versus physical hunger, I just want to give you a little background about myself and why I am here to speak with you about this particular topic. So this is definitely a subject that is near and dear to my heart. So hence why I'm here talking to you about it today. I started dieting at a very, very young age because I was definitely an emotional eater. I started dieting at the age of about 14 years old and went through just about every diet in the book, learning the hard way that it was not necessarily always about the food. Now, of course, I say that, and having spent a good 10 to 15 years on diets and gaining or losing and then regaining weight back over and over again to constantly become disappointed about it was a very difficult lesson to learn and a very hard lesson to learn. But the really fascinating thing that I found out over, say, the last 15 years, so it's been a long journey for me, is that once I released my attachment to the food part of dieting or changing my body, I really began to notice that I could make a big impact by working from an emotional standpoint. So it was all the culmination of the things that I learned over all of those years of struggling with food in my body that helped me to come to a place where I can now feel very at home, very comfortable, and very present in my body. So my personal journey is definitely one. I'll share with you a photo. So this is me back in 1991 when I graduated high school. And at this point, I had, yo-yo dieted for several years and, really kind of given up. So it was a hard time for me. I always had this feeling that if I, got to a certain weight, that I would be happy. If I lost just, those 30 pounds or just whatever, that I would be happy. So I had gotten to that point and then realized that I still wasn't fulfilled personally. It took me a long time to figure that out. So, and what I'm going to share with you today are some of those strategies and just a few to kind of give you a starting point in the right direction if you've been struggling over the past couple of weeks of being stuck inside, of how you can become a little bit more in touch with eating and figuring out whether you have emotional hunger cues or physical hunger cues. This is just a photo of me currently, so just to let you know that it is something that is possible and that it is something that maybe the strategies that we've used up until now may have not been as productive as they could be, and that there might be just another type of another look, a deeper look into what could really be holding you back from having a relationship with food in your body that is based in freedom. So we'll start out, again, my intention for this webinar is to really help you to kind of discern the difference between physical and emotional hunger. And once you're able to do that, kind of give you some strategies as to how you can implement something, a tool in your life right now that can help you to lean more towards the healthier, happier relationship and better relationship with food and your body. So the first thing that I feel is really, really important is to be present. So practicing presence. And I know that's an easy thing to say, right? So, when we think about presence, we're like, oh, everyone always says that. It's just like, who's not present, but how many times, and I can attest to this, over and over again, do I eat while I'm on the telephone? Or do I eat while I'm cooking? Or just eating while I'm not tuned in or present in the situation, regardless of what it is. So maybe I'm talking to people in the house, or talking to people on the phone, or like doing various things, more than one thing at a time. Because, let's all face it, we're super good at multitasking. But when it comes to our food and discerning whether we're physically or emotionally hungry, tuning in and being present is super important. So getting comfortable with, or more in practice of being present, is a really good way to first recognize whether you're having an emotional or a physical hunger cue. So the way that I like to do that is to really begin my day every day. So it's creating presence in general, not just as we are in mealtime situations or snack time situations. So practicing in the morning, just getting present in your body and knowing what that feels like. Becoming still, taking a few moments to realize what's going on with you in your body, and breathe. Just noticing our breath is a really great way to be present and to practice presence. Because what usually when I bring up, we want to practice presence in order to identify physical versus emotional hunger, people will say, well, I'm getting, how do I know? How do I know whenever, I'm going to binge eat, or I'm going to, eat from a emotional standpoint versus a physical standpoint? And if we are in the regular practice of getting in touch with our body and being present in the body and not in our mind, logically processing versus emotionally processing things, it's much quicker to pick up that, I may be emotionally eating. So becoming present, noticing what goes on in your body, breathing, taking time just to be still, noticing things that are around. I still, have instances where I emotionally eat. They're not as often, and I can certainly recognize it and, usually snap back into a state of presence. But when I do notice that I'm doing that, it's because I am completely overwhelmed or sidetracked. So in this time of being in a, maybe stuck in the house where we aren't usually, in this situation, we might be tending to mindlessly eat and not be present with what we're doing in that moment. So I just ask that you start to, if you use this little tool of breathing and becoming present to help you stay focused and in the now. Because what's going on right now, I know for myself, I'm thinking about, when are we going to be released into the green? What am I going to be able to do then? Or, how have I been doing so far? What should I be doing so that I can emerge from this situation in a better way? Well, all of those things, they might be fine, but at the same time, it's taking us away from, where am I right now? And, bring ourselves back to where we are right now. And really, if we're being honest, where are we right now? Usually, if I'm answering that question, I have to say, I'm fine right now. I'm healthy right now. I'm here and I'm safe right now. So becoming present right away begins to diffuse some of this chaos that goes around, and oftentimes presents as emotional hunger. So if you can relate to that, and if you have any questions or concerns about anything that's being discussed, just hold on till the very end, and we're going to have a whole session for question and answer, and I'll be happy to help with any of that. So we're going to practice presence and feel to heal. So feel into what's going on for us in those moments when we are, being still, paying attention to our breath, and tuning into our body, allowing this busy mind to take a little siesta. So that is the first key. Then we're going to talk a little bit. So the second thing that I like to practice is connection. And we started talking about that a little bit in the way of presence, but from the place of connection, what I want to really emphasize is we're connecting into the body. So in order to be able to do that, we would want to become present first, which, like I said, get still, breathe and feel the breath really moving through your body. And then allow to really scan the body as we're breathing and becoming present, just, relaxing the mind, getting present in the body, creating that body connection. And when I say creating a body connection, again, something that sounds a little bit weird, of course you're connected to your body, but when we are using food as a drug, or when we are eating from an emotional and not a physical hunger space, we are causing some sort of, or creating an avoidance, or disconnecting, or numbing out. So this is kind of, again, it sounds a little bit harsh, but it's, we're using food as a drug. So it's not much different than, alcohol or other substances that we might go to in order to numb out. Being present, being connected, all these things are ways to avoid, eating from an emotional place. There are ways to, get us back into our body and really assess what is going on for us. And being connected to the body is just asking, to turn the mind down, allow the sensations of the body to really lead us. And this kind of brings us to the point of, are we physically hungry? Do I need something to eat? That's quite possible. Yeah, it's perfectly, possible that we actually are hungry. So you just want to tune into, what is it that I'm feeling right now in my body? And sometimes the answer is, I'm feeling scared, especially in a time where, we're uncertain about what's going on. So fear comes up. Uncertainty in and of itself might be an emotion that you're feeling. It could be overwhelm. It could be joy. Sometimes we feel joy, and we associate happiness or celebrations or things like that with food. So just tuning in again, what's going on in my body? What is it that I'm actually feeling right now? Is this hunger, or is it one of these other emotions that's happening that I'm going to typically, or I might have a habit or a ritual or routine that I would usually eat at this point. And I'll tell you, just for example, something that I know this happens to me when I am avoiding something that I don't want to do in my office, because I work from home. So I have a home office, and, the kitchen is right around the corner. So I'll maybe, I need to write my bills out, or I need to do something, one of these things that is not something that I actually enjoy doing. Immediately, it's this, I'm going to go and grab something. And then I find myself at the snack drawer. So if I'm going to, go follow this process here, I'll take a breath, examine the snack drawer, get in connection with my body, because sitting at my desk, what was I doing? I was thinking about what I didn't want to do, which was write out my bills. So if I allow that, release the thought about what was going on for me, get into my body and become curious with, what is it that I really need right now? Is it a chocolate covered pretzel? Or do I just need to take a breath, realize that there's no hunger cue here, no physical hunger cue here, and I can go back in and get my checks written or whatever online bill paying done? Because I allowed that space, that curiosity, that window of opportunity to become present, get connected in my body, and then answer myself, what is it that I really, really need right now? Is it food, or is it just to have this little moment with myself to say, it's okay. Go ahead and write your bills. There's no fear. There's no harm, no foul here. So just something to think about. So if you're going through any of these things at home, or you're homeschooling your kids, and maybe that's a little chaotic. I have one person that I'm helping with homeschooling right now, and he's 16, and even that is very, it's a little difficult. And I feel like probably the biggest thing that's difficult about it is just the fact that I have to constantly ask him to do it. Like, that is in and of itself stressful. I have obviously my own things going on, but then, so I know so many of my friends, a lot of folks have multiple children at home. Maybe you're trying to work from home at the same time as you're homeschooling your kids, and maybe you have, multiple other things going on that you're just trying to juggle so much. So that right there, that's chaos. That chaos that's going on really takes us away from being able to be connected in our body and know what we actually need in those moments. It makes it very easy, very accessible, or very obvious next step to just grab something quickly to kind of numb these feelings that we're having of overwhelm, stress, whatever that might be that's going on in your home. So giving yourself some space, giving yourself the presence, the space to find this connection into your body with, what is it that I really need right now? Maybe you just need to walk outside and take a physical space from what might be going on in the house with so many things on your plate right now. So give yourself that, honor yourself and honor the way you're feeling in those moments. And, because what happens if we do the opposite and we do feed these emotions that are going on, what comes up pretty quickly after that? And, if you're anything like me, guilt and shame. I felt stressed out, and maybe you haven't even made those connections, but you might notice that your pants are tighter. And so you feel, you're hard on yourself because, the foods maybe that you're eating are comfort type foods in these times. And now, you have that piled on top of everything else that's going on. So again, to recap, a couple things: become present, become connected, feel into the body as to what's going on for you in those moments, and then honor those feelings. So we can actually honor them by stepping away, taking some space, breathing, and then, actually feeling the feelings that are there instead of numbing them. Hopefully that makes sense and helps. So I just love this quote by Eckhart Tolle. It says, "Some changes look negative on the surface, but you will soon realize the space is being created in your life for something new to emerge." So if all these, little changes that are going on right now in your life are feeling a little overwhelming, just, again, give yourself some grace, some space, and imagine that this may be time for something new to emerge. So the third key is to, in the process of this little sequence of events that happens when we're feeding our emotional hunger, is asking, what are you truly hungry for? What am I truly hungry for? So we can go right back to the example I use of, walking away from my desk because I don't want to do whatever project it is that's sitting in front of me. And, typically it's something like one of the things I don't enjoy doing, such as, like I said, paying bills, or sometimes creative writing, or anything, that I don't want to be doing at that particular time, or I feel like, so in either of those cases, I'd have to go back and say, okay, if it's the bill paying thing, it's this fear and anxiety that I have around money, especially right now with what's going on, being the whole chaos around the economy and everything. So that's scary. So when I have to sit down to do it, so if I'm saying, what am I hungry for in that situation? And I'm going to be honest with myself. I'm hungry for security. I'm hungry for safety. And those things for me personally rate pretty high. So if I can go back and give myself the feeling of safety or this feeling of security without using a substance to achieve that, I'm actually truly fulfilling my needs and being in alignment with who I am and in integrity, which keeps me from feeling guilt and shame later. So it really makes full circle and comes back to allowing me to be more present and connected. So that's just, one example. If I'm feeling overwhelmed and stressed, don't want to do any more math problems with my nephew, and I push back from the desk and say, find myself in the kitchen. Again, I have to become present, connected in my body, and then ask, what am I truly hungry for? And in that point, I would have to answer and say, I am hungry for calm. I'm hungry for peace or confidence. Maybe I can't do the math problem. So I was trying to avoid that feeling of being insecure around the fact that I couldn't finish this homework with him. So asking, that's kind of a tough question. And if you don't, if you're not being honest about it, it's easy to say it's something else. So asking that question, what am I truly hungry for? In the sense of, what is beneath the surface here? Let's get beneath the surface. And once we can answer that question, then we can usually give ourselves that medicine in a more nurturing, loving way that is connected to our body and what we, will make us feel good and not create feelings of guilt and shame post the food. For lack of a better word, I'll say the food binge. So that is, a huge part in being able to assess whether we are emotionally hungry or physically hungry. Asking that question. Sometimes you say, what am I truly hungry for? And I say, wings. I want chicken wings. and that's okay. Because, if I'm, feeding a physical hunger, that's exactly, where I've gotten to through this process of learning that is, as I'm eating for health and hunger and not for stress and strain and, using food as a drug, it's become much simpler. Trusting my body, trusting my intuition. So those are the three key ways that are three key tools. Once we identify that we have some emotional hunger going on in our lives, we can become present, get connected into the body, and then ask, what am I truly hungry for? Cool. And then this is the last thing I want to leave y'all with today. I absolutely adore working with individuals one-on-one in small groups, retreats, and workshops. So the one thing that, the gift I want to give to you for joining me today on this webinar is a complimentary discovery session where you can join me for a one-on-one call, and we can talk about something that may be going on for you right now in the way of food in your body. And the website there is www.bobbidiclaudio.com/apply. You just go on there, fill out a little application, and you'll be able to schedule a call. So at this point, I will open up for Q&A. And I just have a little quote here for you. May your choices reflect your hopes, not your fears. So if anyone has anything that they, didn't understand or did understand but want more of an explanation, feel free to just jump in and